has to be random, but we also have to be able to determine people's origins. So we have to separate the South from the rest of the country. That's what I said. I said it's just the South.
All right, everybody. Good evening to all of you here. Savannah Louie with Atlanta News First, sitting here at the First Alert desk. We're going to start off our Monday evening with a breaking story developing right now. This is happening in Atlanta, Fulton County, over at Piedmont Park. If you're not familiar with Piedmont Park, it is probably the best known park here in Atlanta, not just in our metro area, but throughout the country. And we're hearing that there was a shooting at the park earlier today. I'm going to go ahead and throw up some video. This is from not this afternoon, but I want to give you a look at what the park is like. It's a huge, sprawling park if you're not familiar. We're learning that shots were fired at Piedmont Park and a woman is injured while a suspect is in custody. It's all unfolding around 6 o'clock this afternoon. Now the investigation is underway as that peaceful evening turned into chaos. All of this happening near the basketball courts. That's kind of in the center of the park, I would say, very close to the tennis courts. Now, police say, again, it was a woman who was shot. They believe she was an innocent bystander who was struck after an argument at the basketball courts escalated to gunfire. Again, we are hearing that a possible suspect is in custody. Police say the victim was taken to the hospital and she is alert and breathing, which is some good news. We do have our reporter, Asia Wilson. She is on the scene right now. She's gathering the latest information for all of us this afternoon, this evening, and she will be bringing us live reports later on air. So if you can join us on Peachtree TV at 9 and 10, and then WANF at 11 o'clock, she will have the very latest as this case continues to develop. Again, this is here in Atlanta, Fulton County, over at Piedmont Park. All right, I want to get to another story, also out of the Atlanta area. This has to do with our young kids. Not necessarily young kids, but kids in general, as city leaders are discussing a curfew to keep some of these kids out of trouble. We've heard so many stories over the past several years, really, about young people being involved in violence, particularly gun violence, sometimes escalating into deadly gun violence. And that's why officials say we need to make a curfew. So right now, the latest is that we're hearing curfew times for people who are 16 years old or younger has not changed. It's still 11 p.m. on most days, but the penalties for parents with kids who are disobeying these curfews, well, that might be something that we see changing very soon. Right now, for minors violating the curfew, the first offense is still a warning, but the new ordinance would remove current penalties against the parent or the guardian. This would include a fine of up to $1,000 and or imprisonment. Now, the new legislation says parents can be sentenced to probation after multiple violations of the city's youth curfew. The discussion about the city's curfew resurfaced after someone shot and killed 14-year-old Breasia Powell at a graduation party. This happened just a couple of weeks ago over at Benjamin E. Mays High School. And in that incident, we also know that a 16-year-old boy was injured. So as city leaders try to figure out a solution to all of this gun violence involving our city's youth, this ordinance has passed out of the city's Public Safety Committee. Now, it still needs to be passed throughout the full council to go into full effect. We will, of course, continue to bring you all the latest updates on this case, or I guess ordinance, rather, as we follow it through city leaders' discussion. All right, let's move straight ahead here. Another big breaking story that our entire country is watching. Former President Trump facing an indictment Tuesday. Okay. He's back in Florida right now. You can see this is his plane. This is video from earlier today. And this is him landing in Florida ahead of his historic arraignment tomorrow at a Miami federal court. Trump right now facing 37 counts in a federal indictment related to his handling of classified documents. This was all after he left office and had to do with his Mar-a-Lago estate. That's where the documents were found, in a variety of rooms, including a ballroom and a shower. Prosecutors say Trump illegally retained these classified documents detailing U.S. nuclear weapons programs, military activity, and capabilities of both the U.S. and foreign countries. So far, this indictment does not seem to be impacting Trump's popularity as we look toward the 2024 presidential election. A CBS News poll released yesterday, Sunday, shows Trump continues to be the solid frontrunner in the race for the 2024 Republican nomination. He has 61% support among likely GOP primary voters. So again, his arraignment will be tomorrow in Miami. Atlanta News First will be keeping a very close eye on this for you, watching as it develops. And you can stay with us for all of those latest updates throughout the day and then into the evening as well. All right, I want to get to some shocking video here. This was appalling to me. If you are someone who is familiar with the nightlife in Atlanta, you know that it seems like anything can happen here. And that is certainly something that happened over the weekend. If you're familiar with the Edgewood neighborhood, this is in Atlanta, Fulton County. Well, take a look at this video. Chaos at a popular Southeast Atlanta neighborhood. This is Edgewood Avenue. Business owners in the area now worried about safety. All of this happening as and after the bars were closing. Police from Atlanta arresting multiple people over the weekend along Edgewood Avenue. In fact, that woman who was dancing on the police patrol vehicle was one of those who was apprehended. We're told dozens of people started spilling into the street just after the bars closed. Cell phone video showed that crowd just creating chaos. A business owner at a restaurant nearby, Harold's Chicken and Ice Bar, says crowds are not uncommon, but also says that this situation has raised those safety concerns. Again, like I said, I feel like here in Atlanta, it seems like anything can happen once it gets past midnight, but some of those scenes were just shocking to see. And I know I saw them all over my social media feed, so maybe you might have seen them as well over the weekend. All right, final story for you tonight, something that I'm sure many of you are looking forward to over the summer. It's a long-standing Atlanta tradition that might be looking a little bit different. If you have ever gone out on the Chattahoochee, maybe for a little float with your inner tube, well, if you've been doing it for years, this year might be a little bit different. Now here's why. National park officials are explaining and defending their decision to move a popular tubing company's launch point on the Chattahoochee River. The owner of Shoot the Hooch initially told us the National Park Service moved his launch point from Sandy Springs to Duluth. That's pretty far. He says the new location, though, is too close to a dangerous part of the river. Atlanta News First spoke with members of the National Park Service, and they say their goal wasn't to target business owners. They do, however, want to keep the river as natural as possible for the sake of the environment. Officials say they do survey the river, and they will be removing trees and branches as they see is necessary if they believe they are a hazard. But overall, if this is something that you look forward to doing year after year, just know that your trip down the river could be looking very different. My advice to you would be, if you typically use one of these tube rental companies, that's what I've done in the past, reach out to them or look at their social media feed and see what they recommend as far as where the entry point is, how to best get to their facilities, and they always have great advice, whether it's about their entry point or really what else you need to know before you go out on the river. A lot of good advice there. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me here at 8:10 o'clock. 8:10 o'clock. Can you tell it's a Monday?
It's the coffee.
That's actually my tea. I need coffee at 8:10 o'clock. Let's send you out with a picture of, let's do the Midtown skyline here. You can see that beautiful sunset reflecting off the buildings. And we also have our meteorologist, Patrick Pete, here with a Monday forecast for all of you. Patrick, how's it going?
Oh, man, it looks much better out there right now than it looked this morning when we had some showers and storms rolled through. We had extended cover. Well, we had round-the-clock team last night watching these showers and storms. And thankfully, other than a little bit of wind damage, it seems as though our area was spared. So good evening. Happy Monday. Good to be here and see you all. Hopefully you're having a fantastic Monday evening. Good start to the work week, because unfortunately the weather isn't really going to be on your side for a large chunk of the week. We do have some isolated showers and storms that are in the cards for tomorrow, mainly along and south of I-20. I don't think everyone's going to see this. We're not first alerting it because it's going to be so isolated. But if you are under those showers and storms, it is going to be impactful. So you at least want to be dialed in. This is a good time to remind folks that our First Alert Weather app has many uses for you and for us. But I think that the most functional thing about this app is that it will pinpoint when rain is on the way. It will tell you exactly how far lightning strikes are from you. So if you have plans tomorrow afternoon and you're along and south of I-20, this is going to be a pivotal tool that you can use to get these alerts as those showers and storms roll through. Meanwhile, a first alert in the forecast for Wednesday, because this is the day that we do expect this to be more impactful. More folks will see showers and storms. It will not be all day. There will be a lot of dry time, and I do expect some breaks in the clouds mid-afternoon, but multiple rounds of rain will be in the cards for Wednesday, so we're just giving you that heads up. Nonetheless, if you don't get it in the morning, you'll probably get it at night. And then more showers on Thursday, and with rain chance after rain chance after rain chance, a lot of which is focused on one particular area, we are going to at least be watching for the potential for an isolated flood watch, as we could see some areas get a deluge of rain. So reasons to stay weather aware. On top of that, there is the risk for some severe weather. Now, we do think that tomorrow's risk is mainly along and south of I-20. There's a level 2 risk out of 5, a level 1 extending a little bit further northward. And then as you can see, Wednesday, that risk shifts further south. So we're looking at the southern part of our viewing area, Meriwether, Troup, Upson, Butts, Pike, Lamar counties, being the ones that we're focusing on a lot, especially for some of this flood potential as the rain will come in waves. Here's how we get through tomorrow, which will start off pretty dry, but as we head into the afternoon, that's where we'll see some of those isolated showers start to move closer to the perimeter. And then you can see that the yellows and the reds stay pretty much south of I-20, so that's why we think that that's where the stronger storms are going to set up. And then we'll clear out as we head into the evening, lower rain chance there. So making your plans throughout the day. This isn't a day to cancel any outdoor plans. This is just a day to be weather aware. There's some folks that are going to be getting some showers and storms. Other of us are just going to be seeing partly to mostly cloudy skies. Temperatures getting into the 80s where we have some dry time, but where we see some of those showers and storms through the afternoon, I think you'll end up topping out in the upper 70s. Calling it 80 for Atlanta, and then that first alert for Wednesday, which we're going to start off with some isolated rumbles early Wednesday morning. So I don't expect most of us to pick up on the early morning rain, but we will see some of that at around 7, 8 o'clock moving into some of our communities. I think it moves through Atlanta around mid-morning, and then around 12 o'clock, we're tracking widely scattered showers. We'll get a little bit of a break, and you can see we'll get some breaks in the clouds as well by 5 o'clock. And then as we head into the evening hours Wednesday, more of that rain, more showers, more storms, and that's going to linger into the start of your Thursday morning. So you can see that already the Storm Prediction Center has that excessive risk outlook. That yellow that you see, that's highlighting a 15% chance of there being some flood watch guidance issued through Wednesday. And then that green is about a 5%. So a little bit lower for most of Metro Atlanta, but the further south you head, the higher that risk is for us to see that. So this is just a reason to stay weather aware. And also, like if you have outdoor plants, listen, maybe you should just not water them for the next few days, because Mother Nature is going to give you an abundance of rain in those particular areas. Scattered showers and storms lingering into Thursday. Right now, we don't have a first alert on that, but if guidance continues to trend as wet as it's looking, I would not be surprised if we first alerted at least the morning for those showers and storms. Mostly sunny skies really dominate the forecast Friday. That's going to be the day to get everything done outside you want to get done. Maybe you want to rake up the yard, or maybe you just want to go for a nice outdoor run, bike ride. That's going to be a good day, a little warm, upper 80s. And then Saturday and Sunday. Right now, Saturday looks to be the best chance at some dry spots. Some isolated showers and storms are in the forecast Saturday afternoon. That's not something everyone will see. That's why you see that lower rain chance. But the better chance for scattered showers and storms, unfortunately, coming back into view next Sunday. So a series of multiple different systems. And, I'll shoot straight with you. One of these weather patterns where there's just so much unsettled weather, this is one of those patterns that you really need to check in a little bit more often than you normally do, because this is very fluid, because we're talking about multiple disturbances just moving in, lifting north and sinking south. the big player over the next couple of days is where is that boundary going to set up? Wherever the boundary sets up, you're going to have a series of areas of low pressure that just kind of rides that boundary, especially areas just to the south of that. And right now, that looks to be setting up for the lowest part of our viewing area. So we're getting data in every couple of hours, and we're going through that, shifting through that, seeing where we see that placement. We're talking about 20-mile stretch being the difference between getting 1.5 inches and maybe 3.5 inches. So we're really trying to fine tune that forecast over the course of the next few days, because that's a lot of water coming down, and we're concerned for sure about the potential for some flash floods. So I'm going to leave you with the 7-day forecast so that you can make your plans, which are mostly going to be indoor plans for the most part for this week. And then you can catch us tonight at 9. We'll have an update on where we think that boundary is going to set up, and you can catch another update at 10 and 11. So you guys have a good night. Happy Monday, and we'll see you in an hour.